Binge the full week of The Ray Taylor Show ad-free over at patreon.com/inspired disorder.
What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
Ted Lasso, Season 2, Episode 9, Beard After Hours. This is something I've been waiting for a season and a half now. I've been waiting for the Coach Beard episode of Ted Lasso. He's one of the main, if not the only main character left to not really have an episode where a big chunk, if not all of it, was dedicated to him. And this was the episode dedicated to him. An episode that is a really fun subgenre of films, a one crazy night subgenre of films where you're just following a character through a bunch of crazy events as they basically try to survive the night and get home. And in some cases, that is this night for Coach Beard. This takes place directly after the events of the last episode, which I have to imagine there are very few episodes in the show that take place directly after the previous episode. A lot of episodes jump way ahead. At least we have this season. But this one takes place just after AFC Richmond gets destroyed by Man City from the last season. Coach Beard, angry, upset at the loss. Also upset with the fact that he is had a breakup with his girlfriend Jane, which we find out in this episode, which adds to why he was probably a little bit more upset after a loss, because he likes Jane. He likes Jane, despite her being full-blown QAnon, which was just like a thrown-out thing in like a few episodes ago. And despite Higgins kind of telling him that he's, not a fan of hers, and that he could do better, but he's bummed out and he's depressed. So it starts out with him on a subway or a bus. I'm not exactly sure. Kind of this montage-y thing that's showing that he's just he rode it a long time. Or it's just a long ride for him to get home, because that's where he ends up. He goes home and turns on the TV and starts to hallucinate or imagine that the commentators that are discussing that night's game are directly talking to him and talking crap about him and his ability as a coach, and just everything that could get under Coach Beard's skin at that moment. So he's not going to stay home. He's got to go out. He chugs his beer. He heads out the door. And this is where the one crazy night starts. He goes to the beer bar. It's the bar where they get beer and all the fans of AFC Richmond hang out. I think it's called Crown and Anchor, assuming the Wikipedia is correct. I didn't know the name of the bar, but that is the bar where they always go to hang out. It's the bar where they did the classic episode of the dart game. I believe that's the same bar. The darts from last season. But Coach Beard's hanging out. The bartender's talking shit to him. Like he's just still getting shit. I mean, it's devastating, and everybody else is devastated, and the fans are there. The trio of fans who are always at the bar, they are there, and they end up hanging out with Coach Beard, getting wasted, closing down the bar. They decide to go to a private after-hours club, like a basement club or whatever. And, they sneak in. They get some coats from the Lost and Found at Crown and Anchor. And they head on over to this private club, and Coach Beard does a quick little scam to get them in. And they get in, and they kind of bullshit their way, making friends at the pool table. And then Coach Beard ends up getting kicked out. And when he gets kicked out, there's this beautiful lady, just empty streets, middle of the night, beautiful woman, across the street, and you got like this noir type soundtrack going on, and she invites him back to his house. He's got a tear in his pants. He ended up sitting down on a there's this cool scene where he's sitting down on this like this rustic table or whatever, and these TV screens are like playing like this lava lamp type videos. It's all these old CRT TVs stacked on top of each other, and these, it's a view from behind Coach Beard while he's sitting facing the TVs, and at first it's all the lava lamp on the screens, and then each TV starts clicking over to game footage of the game that he just got. And it's just, it's just that further idea that Coach Beard is not doing well. He's depressed about his breakup. He's depressed with this like massive loss. Like it was an important game, and it was the most embarrassing way to lose a game, just being devastated and destroyed. And he just can't shake it. It's those times when you have depression or anxiety where your brain is just constantly, like, especially depression, thinking of things that happened in the past that you have no control over. But for whatever reason, that's your brain just cannot stop, and it's on a loop. And because it's on a loop, it just digs and erodes and and makes it just impossible to think of anything else. And it's just exhausting. That's why people sleep a lot when they're depressed, because it is exhausting to be caught in that hamster wheel of thought process, just never ending. So it stands to be considered and believed that when he's sitting on the thing, it's going through it. It's a beautifully visualized scene. And he stands up because the security guard finds that he snuck back in after being kicked out, and he stands up and tears his pants, and he gets kicked out, and she's like, "Come over, I'll fix your pants." Which is, of course, who hasn't like torn their pants? For sure happened to me multiple times in my life. But of course, every time I have torn my pants and I go outside into public, there's a beautiful woman asking to fix them. Which, of course, this show just clearly illustrates the believability of that situation happening. But of course, we are in a TV show. We are in the imaginary land of Ted Lasso. So of course, there is a beautiful woman. And of course, there is noir music playing in the background as he goes back to her apartment. And it's like this scene where it's, it's very much like you see in noir, where it's like it's flirty, but not flirty. But like there's sexual tension, but it doesn't go anywhere, kind of a thing. And she tells this story about, like, she has this rack of clothing that she's collected over time of different lovers that she's had. And she gives Coach Beard a fancy, shiny set of striped bell bottoms to put on, which just make his outfit. I mean, it went from just his regular coaching outfit to putting on a fancy coat so he can get into this private club that he eventually get kicked out of, and now his pants. So it's like what you see in a lot of these One Crazy Night movies that you're seeing in this episode, that kind of evolution of the character. Wardrobe starts to change, attitude starts to change, things just it's a ride where a character really kind of goes through a lot of things, and you're just on that ride with them in a lot of ways. So anyway, we're on the ride where he's putting on the shiny striped bell bottoms while he's waiting for her to fix the thing. And of course, while she's fixing it, she gets a call from her British Batista of a boyfriend, right? This guy, this mean, angry, jacked dude on the FaceTime, telling him, "I'm there. You better get out of there." So of course, Coach Beard has to run again. And he loses his wallet and his phone in the meantime, which is kind of like a fun chase scene. You're seeing, Coach Beard getting chased by this UK Batista and I'm not saying barista. I'm saying like Batista, the former quote unquote professional quote unquote wrestler, who is now probably my favorite actor that's come from that world. But this guy's like got the UK and a little bit more grizzled, looks a little different, but they could be cousins. Like that's his cousin that lives in the UK, and he's chasing down Coach Beard. A little over 4 years ago, I started The Many Faces. It's an ongoing series of abstract ink portraits. Each piece is improvised. Each piece is released daily. Start collecting now. Head on over to inspireddisorder.com/TMF. That stands for The Many Faces. And save yourself 25% when you use coupon code RTS. That stands for The Ray Taylor Show, because that's what you're listening to, and I love you. So I want you to save 25% when you use that coupon code. Head on over to inspireddisorder.com/TMF and use coupon code RTS to save 25% when you start collecting one of over 1,600 original ink paintings. By myself, I made them. Support me. I love you. Back to the show. He's doing that. He's runs in on his way, and he's trying to run away. And as he gets away from this giant behemoth, he runs into the three dudes, one of which Coach Beard physically kicked out of the locker room. Jamie Tartt's dad, Mr. Tartt, and his two drunk buddies that were at the Manchester versus AFC Richmond game. And he runs into them in like it's an alley or a overpass. I don't know what it is, but it's not the place where when you are by yourself to be, confronted with three people who are wasted and aggressive and angry at you because you ruined their ability to be assholes to everybody. And, he gets in a fight, which happens in all of these movies. There's always a fight. You get tested physically. You get tested mentally in these types of movies. It's a survival. This is like, it's like what Bear Grylls does when he goes out into the wilderness, except for it's usually some downtown urban situation where these one crazy night type of stories take place. And he gets beat up. Of course he gets beat up. 3 against 1. So Coach Beard gets beat up. But they get chased away because British Batista shows up again. This time to not only save Coach Beard, but to also return his wallet and phone and apologize because in the time that Coach Beard got away from him, his girlfriend explained the situation and was super, handled it in some ways the most unrealistic way most people would handle a situation like that, but also handling it the right way. No harm, no foul. Here's your shit. Good luck with the rest of your night. And then he heads off on a little scooter, which I thought was funny as well. But yeah, and then of course, so he gets his phone back, he gets his wallet back, and just as that situation, I mean, that's the one thing I love about these types of stories is that they are like boom, 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 boom. And this episode is the same way. It's just like you're on the ride with Coach Beard throughout this whole night, and it's just one thing after another, these crazy random things. So, of course, as soon as he gets his phone, his wallet back, and this limo starts pulling down the street, and you hear these guys singing inside the limo. And, of course, who's inside the limo? None other than the 3 fans, the people that Coach Beard left at the pub, the private club. They were at that time chumming it up with 3 guys who thought that they had gone to school together. They were playing pool, gambling at pool, whatever. Just my favorite thing to do when I used to go to the bars was playing pool, shooting pool, and it can definitely be a bonding moment. It could definitely go the other way, but it definitely was a bonding moment for these 3 fans and those 3 dudes. So they I guess they won so much money from them that they decided to get a limo to drive them around for that night while they continue to party. So Coach Beard asked them to take him home, so they're the ones that take him home, and Coach Beard gives them, like, he writes something down on a piece of paper, and he's like, here, just tell him Beard said it's okay, right? Just like, here's this destination, go there, they'll let you in, and everything will be okay. Coach Beard goes to his apartment, as shown earlier in the episode, having issues with his key, which, by the way, the kind of little slippy slidey thing that covers the key, where the key, and then it's like an old timey like round key with like the kind of the fan thing on the end of it. This show makes me want to move to the UK just because it's so different, you know. And I like the rain. I don't mind that. Not big into soccer, but I can get into it. Sure, why not? But his key breaks off. And, of course, it's raining, pouring rain. And he tries to, where does he go first? He goes somewhere first, and they kick him out. I think he goes into a hotel. And they're like, do you have a room? He's like, no. Or he asks for, I totally forget what happens to him. But he's soaked, and he gets kicked out of a place. And then he ends up having to he goes to this church, which has I don't know if it's a church, but it has a neon cross out in front. And that was in a picture that he was sent from his ex, Jane, that he has been texting with, at least earlier on when he had his phone. And, of course, when he got his phone back, he realized that he saw that he had thousands of missed texts and calls from her while he was out on his journey. But that neon cross was in one of those, or a few of her pics. And so he goes in and goes into the basement, and it's like a rave. He like stumbled into a rave, and he gets up, and it's just like him having fun, just kind of like letting go of not just the game that he lost, or not he lost, he was part of the loss. His team lost. Letting go of that. But also letting go of the night that he's had. This like crazy night. Which is kind of how life goes in a lot of ways. Like when that downswing goes, you know, like when he gets broken up with, his team performs horribly, and then on top of all of that, because when things go bad, they keep going bad. Like it gets trending. Bad things happening. So it's like girlfriend dumping him, team doing bad, and then like crazy night. We're just like he's trying to have fun, and just crazy things keep happening. He gets beat up. He's like he's got these crazy bell bottoms on. He's getting chased by British Batista. Just like this thing. And it's like you get to a point where you need to just let all of those things off your shoulders and just exist in the moment. And that's what Coach Beard is doing once he finds this rave. He's dancing. He's having fun. He's twirling the hula hoop. I believe his Jane is at the party, and they kind of get back together or whatever. Or at least he's happy to see her. Sometime we'll see what happens with that. We'll see if maybe sometimes after getting a bit of space, and you reassess and you try and go back into a relationship that may not be healthy. It could be a toxic relationship. Once you get that little break, you can see that contrast. Like, oh, even though my life wasn't going that great, it wasn't as bad as it is with you. Maybe. Or he'll just fall in love. And just they'll be like, it'll be like a wedding episode. Coach Beard is going to be marrying Jane, or it'll be a dual wedding episode. It's going to be Jane and Coach Beard and Rebecca and Sam, or triples. It's Rebecca and Sam, Beard and Jane, and Ted and Sharon. Oh, 4. You got all of those, and then also Keely and Roy. Of course, I forgot that one. That was like the most whatever. Yeah, it's and of course it ends with the next day back in the offices over at AFC Richmond. You got the majority of the Diamond Dogs there. You got Roy, you got Nate, you got Ted, and they're waiting to see if Coach Beard shows up. Ted assures them that Coach Beard is a man of his word and shows up, and not much later, that man shows up with everybody's orders, with everybody's coffee. Nobody is excited to be watching this game tape, but Ted, in his most Ted Lasso-y way, surprises everybody with the game tape being sped up by 10x and backed with the soundtrack of Benny Hill. So it makes it a lot more funny, as Ted is one to do, and I think in some ways being a goldfish, in some ways, at least trying to view have a different perspective on that loss, having it be more of a funny moment than a devastating, horrific loss. But it was a fun episode following Coach Beard around. I don't know if I really know more about the character. Like, I enjoy him. He's a brilliant guy. It seems like this relationship thing, it doesn't, from like the little we know about this relationship, it actually mirrors reality in a lot of ways. Like, some of the sweetest people end up dating some of the most toxic humans, and it's so hopefully that's not what happens. I want the best for Coach Beard, but it was fun not only seeing him, but seeing him with and the players. So the thing that the players, that Coach Beard gave them the note, the destination they go, it looks like this speakeasy place, just like some random metal door that says no entry on it, and they go in, and there's a guy at the door saying, "What are you doing here?" And they show him the note, and they tell him Coach Beard sent him, and they bring him in. And it was at that moment where, like, oh, that's what they're doing. Like, it took me a while, and it made the most sense, especially for the fans, the big fans of AFC Richmond, because when that second door opens, they realize they see that they are in fact at the AFC Richmond pitch field, so they get to go have fun and play soccer on their favorite team's field for playing, and it was a fun moment. It was a fun moment. I believe that scene was happening while Beard was hula hooping at the rave. But yeah, overall, it was a fun episode. It was a fun ride. I actually started to watch the movie After Hours, which is a One Crazy Night type of movie directed by Martin Scorsese. It's on the Criterion channel, or it's app right now. I started to watch that to see how closely things event, because it's been a while since I've watched that movie, and there's not really any related. There's not a lot of references other than referencing that subgenre of film, that One Crazy Night type of a movie. But it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it quite a bit, and looking forward to episode 10 coming out next week. That one titled No Weddings and a Funeral. So I guess there's no wedding. Now, no, I had 4 weddings planned. 4. Roy and Keely, Ted and Sharon, Sam and Rebecca, and then Jane and Beard. And all of those weddings are canceled, and apparently somebody's going to die. That's my guess. I don't know if weddings are planned in this episode. Ooh, am I right? It's my predictions, right? My predictions for episode 10. That somebody's engaged. Probably Coach Beard and Jane, if I had to guess. They are the closest out of all the... or maybe Keely and Roy. Those are the 2. I mean, Keely and Roy, we've seen a lot more in the show, but those would be the two. But I could see, especially coming off the Beard episode, I could see that they kind of maintaining that momentum of Coach Beard and Jane. But it could also, there's going to be an engagement. My prediction, engagement, or a wedding is planned. Something gets called off because somebody dies. And it's not the dog. The dog that was the first episode. This is episode 10. It's another death. How much death is going to be in Ted Lasso? This is a show about positivity and laughter and being nice and all of those things, and also dealing with mental health. I mean, this episode, in a lot of ways, was Coach Beard. This is how he deals with his mental health issues, maybe, or avoiding them. So we'll see. Next episode. No funerals. Stop killing people, Ted Lasso show. This is a comedy. Please? New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, everywhere else podcasts are found. Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/Inspired Disorder. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com. Follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful week, everybody. Peace out!